Hey, Joe at Nelly Sportsline looking at college football September 30th. Free pick comes in Big Ten play this week. I'm going to take an ugly underdog backing Indiana plus 14.5 against Maryland Saturday afternoon, 3:30 Eastern Time. Indiana is number 133 in the rotation. The Hoosiers had a terrible performance last week. They wind up getting an overtime win against Akron, four overtime win actually, and it was an ugly performance in the box score. Akron put up far more production, and very easily could have lost that game, but they escaped with a win. They're 2-2. Now they're looking to snap a very long Big Ten losing streak with an opportunity against a Maryland team that's 4-0, but has looked a little shaky so far this season. Maryland did win comfortably last week in the scoreboard, but if you look at the success rates, Michigan State actually moved the ball pretty well against Maryland. And again, this is a Spartans team that's going through a lot right now and had 5 turnovers in last week's game. Previous 2 weeks, Maryland fell behind 14-0 against Charlotte, had to rally to win that game, and also fell behind 14-0 against Virginia, had to rally to win that game. Now, Indiana is playing pretty decent defense outside of last week. They held Ohio State to 23 points. They held Louisville to 21 points. Those are both 4-0 teams. And in the Louisville game, they had the ball down 7 late onto the 1 yard line, couldn't get it done. I think a little bit of a letdown last week coming off that big opportunity. That was a big game in Indianapolis for the Hoosiers 2 weeks ago. I think they'll be sharper this week in this Big Ten game. And there are some things to like about what India has done. Taven Jackson actually is the fifth best quarterback rating in the Big Ten, just behind Tagovailoa for Maryland. And this is a Maryland team that has a really big game next week against Ohio State. So I think you could see Maryland perhaps not at their best in this sandwich game between big game last week with Michigan State and Ohio State next week. If you look historically, Maryland has struggled before playing the Buckeyes. They're 1-6 straight up and against the spread in the game prior to facing Ohio State, losing by 30, 37, and 31 points the past 3 seasons. Now, Indiana's not going to put up that kind of margin this week. But I think the Hoosiers can hang in this game with Maryland possibly looking ahead to that Ohio State game. Remember last year Maryland played Ohio State really tough, lost 43-30, but it was a 3-point game in the fourth quarter. So I like Indiana to be competitive this week. I think if you can get 14 or 14.5 with the Hoosiers, I think they will be in this game late. And I like Indiana plus the points for this week's free pick in college football. We are looking at a top play for college football for Nelly's this Saturday. It will be our first 9-star of the season. We'll also look to add to an excellent start, 9-3 in the NFL so far this season, including winning our 7-star last Sunday. Check out our selections at ASAwins.com. Thanks for checking out today's free pick.